Intan, you started grassroots work relatively late in January. How did you get involved, and when did the time? Could you take us through the process of when you were asked to stand?
Okay. Well, grassroots work, yes, I started quite late, only in January. How I came along, how I got to that position, well, I was just asked to help out, and I agreed. And right now I'm the PCF chairman, so I work with the kindergartens, with the grassroots leaders in that area. But are you implying that it's a short period of time that
yes,
I've been there?
Yes, are you concerned about the relative lack of experience?
Well, time, of course, having had more experience would, of course, be good. But I believe that my experience in volunteer work has provided me enough experience to bring with me to the ground at the grassroots level. I don't see it as being entirely different. I see it really as just an extension of what I've been doing this past few years.
Culturally, do you think Singapore is ready for women as a minister in charge of Muslim affairs?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I think we have had very good minister in charge of Muslim affairs. They have taken at least the Malay Muslim community forward. We have made a lot of very good progress. Whether we're ready as a community or even as a society to have a minister in that position, I think that remains to be seen. Okay. But my priority right now is really, if I get elected, is really to get to know my residents and work with my grassroots leaders and activists. Okay. Thank you.
On the issue of abused children, the families often fit like a typical profile. So would you support like an interventionist approach where you identify the family, if it is a certain profile, and then start helping and counseling them instead of reacting when tragedy strikes?
Well, that is really like a catch-22 situation. If you start profiling, it might create certain stigma. It might even segregate society into different pockets. So we always need to be very cautious when it comes to identifying, profiling families as such. But of course, I think we do not want to always react. We try to anticipate and we try to address these issues. But it's a work in progress. It's something that we have to learn a lot more from the stakeholders involved, from VWOs, and from those who are directly involved in dealing with children or abused children.
You mentioned you champion causes like women and children, working mothers especially. Sometimes you need to cull sacred cows. Well, what sacred cows would you cull? I'm not talking about tweaking policies. I'm talking about overturning them completely. What would you champion to champion the cause of women and children?
Culling sacred cows. Well, that's quite a drastic move.
It has to be drastic sometimes to make a difference.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm in a position to do that. I think what's important is to first understand what we have at the moment. Because when you come up with policies, you cannot just do it on a whim, just because you hear something or you see something and you just want to change policies drastically. Policies take time to develop. It takes the involvement of those relevant parties, those who are concerned. So what policy exactly I will overhaul, that will definitely take time. Okay, and it's something that I need to learn from not just the stakeholders involved, but also those who have had more experience than I have. Like what I mentioned, one area that I would like to look at is probably in terms of providing more protection for children, is to also help working mothers form that social support network. For instance, we have quite a number of stay-at-home mothers who are not working, but I see them as a very valuable resource in terms of providing, for instance, childcare giving, becoming childcare givers. I've heard of mothers who have had difficulty enrolling their children into childcare so that they can look for a job. So we have a group of stay-at-home mothers who can probably be authorized childcare givers, okay, pull them in, and then they can help to provide childcare support for mothers who want to leave their children somewhere while they go out to work. And these mothers are those who may have difficulty enrolling their children in childcare. So it's something that we can definitely do. And then when we regulate it as such, or when we get them to become authorized childcare givers, we also help to ensure that they are trained, they know how to give childcare to the best of their ability, proper childcare, and that they will not abuse the children who have been entrusted under their care.
What do you think is your strength and weakness?
Strength.
What do you think the residents, the people should vote for you?
Why should the people vote for me? Okay. Strength and weakness. In terms of strength, I feel that when I do things with a lot of heart. I do things sincerely. Lip service does not quite do justice. When you do something, you should go all out and do it. And sincerity shows in the actions that you do, in the things that you say to people. Weakness, well, I tend to be more contemplative, more deliberate. So sometimes people perceive that as a weakness in the sense that, oh, she's very quiet, she tends to listen a lot more. But I would like to be able to turn that perceived weakness into a strength. I think when you listen more, you also learn a lot more about people, about their needs, about their aspirations. So I hope to turn that weakness into a strength for me. Why should the people vote for me? I think I represent quite different segments of society. I represent the women. I represent the minority race, Malays. I represent educators, people who work on the ground. And I believe that I understand fully the aspirations and needs of residents. Being a heartlander myself, having lived in a HDB flat all my life, and even living in a HDB flat now, I understand what residents need, what they want, what their aspirations are. So I believe that I can connect with people in that sense.
In Malay, kenapa harus kita mengundi bagian dalam?
Okay. Selain daripada keikhlasan yang saya ingin tunjukkan ya melalui tingkah laku saya dan juga cara saya berinteraksi dengan penduduk. Saya juga membesar di flat HDB. Saya masih tinggal di sebuah flat HDB. Jadi saya amat memahami keperluan para penduduk, sama ada dari segi keselamatan, kemudahan di estate HDB. Jadi saya rasa saya adalah sebahagian daripada rakyat jelata. Saya bukannya orang yang duduk di Menara Gading dan tiba-tiba saja turun di kalangan masyarakat. Terima kasih. Okay. Thank you very much.